Caffeine makes my YouTube videos worse. And I'm saying this as someone who was one of the first people, somebody who started the trend of trying to steer people away from caffeine about 6 years ago, alongside other creators. But little did I know that after having created that video and a subsequent video on my previous channel, later down the track, because of the certain difficulties that I have faced and encountered in my life, I had to go back to caffeine until I get to this stage that I am right now. Which is, I'm realizing the same thing again. Caffeine is changing the way I am as a person. It makes me feel like a superhero, Superman, as if I have some special abilities, but they feel more destructive and chaotic, like all over the place, rather than focused and penetrating. Something that could create connection. And so when I do drink coffee, my mind just becomes extremely too powerful. Like it becomes overly powerful. I am no longer able to communicate properly. And when I go out and I meet women, I'm not able to connect with them properly. Everything becomes surface level. 6 years ago, I couldn't quite articulate why was it happening. And by the way, if you want to watch my first video, it's called The Worst Dangers of Coffee, that nobody's talking about. It's on the channel called The Breath of Fresh Air. But today, I'm not just talking about the dangers of coffee, I'm sharing the experience of somebody who has been without coffee, somebody that was duped into coffee because everybody was drinking it, and then somebody who got off coffee and then gone back on it again, and now I'm free again. And now I'm able to choose, unlike 6 years ago where I just went radical the other way. So I was drinking coffee and then I went straight to abstaining from it. Now I'm in the middle where I choose it for certain deep creative work. If I work for the whole day and I have to strategize and I have to kind of be my own psychologist and just figure out the things that are bothering me. But when it comes to YouTube videos, or when it comes to meeting women, or even when it comes to meeting my friends, it completely destroys who I am. And the reason is very simple. My mind is just way too powerful. And my body is not able to keep up. I used to be stuttering when I was a kid, partly for that same reason, even though doctors didn't put it that way because, well, doctors are not very holistic. But now I do realize that. So quite often people drink caffeine to enhance their brains, their minds, so they are able to utilize them, like in a movie called the Bradley Cooper movie called Limitless. Use the brain to its maximum capacity. But with me, my brain, first of all, is already at its maximum capacity. That's one thing. And the other thing is that I know more natural ways to make my brain function better, which I mentioned in the first video that I was recording on the other channel. To put it simply, it's moving, it's meditating, it's journaling, it's learning, it's meeting women and connecting with them, it's thinking about other people first before thinking about myself, and a lot of other things. I'm not going to be teaching you like the whole palette of how to keep my brain sharp, how you can keep your brain sharp too. But it is possible to do without coffee and only use it occasionally in a conscious manner, like literally setting a block, like, hey, I only use coffee once a week. And so when I record the video, I just realized that, after I have recorded several videos for this channel, that I don't need coffee. Otherwise, my videos get too long and they kind of go all over the place. So I start with one idea and then I pivot into the other idea, then I get sidetracked, then I have a segue, and after a segue there's a little detour, and then I'm like, hey, but the video is about this thing, so let's continue, and the whole cycle continues again. So my one video becomes about 8 different subjects. So instead of going deep, I'm going wide. It's quite good to have that kind of mindset in some way. For example, Elon Musk is using it. He has seemingly to be many interests, many companies that he is doing, and people think that he cannot just focus. But in reality, he just has one goal: to make human beings an interplanetary species that lives in peace. And all of those things are just helping him. They are like drawing their human attention and the money, the finances into his main mission. But it doesn't work for the video, because when you and me, when we open videos on YouTube, unless they are very long, we want the videos to be about whatever the title says. Videos are not movies. So if a movie is called, Avengers Endgame, we don't just watch the end game, the last 30 to 60 minutes of a movie. It's the whole movie, but we know it's a movie and everything is kind of building up to it. With YouTube videos, it is different. It's more on point, and it was different 12 years ago. So when I was just getting started on YouTube in 2014, it was different. I wasn't making exceptionally long videos. They were about 10 to 15, sometimes 20 minutes long. But back then, the attention span, and I don't like to use cliche terms, but stay with me for a while, the attention span was wider, so people were able to watch longer. Now the attention span is shorter, and part of the reason is that a lot of people who create videos, like myself in the first videos on this channel, and I'm still battling with this, we are not able to stay on point and stay on track. Usually a mind sees the title and they visualize what the video is about, and they want to hear it and to process the information with their brain. And if the person who is creating the video gets sidetracked and detoured and then pivots, etc., etc., a person loses the connection, the emotional connection, something that they viscerally feel with what the title was and what they're actually hearing and seeing in the video. There's a big difference between a 30-minute long video where somebody takes a subject and then talks about the adjacent subjects, which is not what the audience wants. And then another one where a person talks about the same subject from different angles, different states of being, at different points in time, and they create a holistic video on the subject. Because we don't have holistic videos right now. My first video about coffee and caffeine, a lot of other people who create videos, they are not very holistic. There are channels who are different. I'm not going to be naming them here because I don't think they're currently doing a particular good job. But they make videos that are 1, 2, 3, 4 hours long, and they stay on point because they make it obvious for people what that point is, and they don't talk about adjacent subjects. It's the same thing. It's like, going into the Matrix as Neo, then going into the Matrix as Niobe, then going to the Matrix or living in the Matrix as Agent Smith or as a prophet or the Oracle. It's the same world and it's still Matrix. But if we see it through the eyes and lenses of different people, it will still be pertinent to the title of the video or the movie. Same thing works with YouTube. I'm starting to sense that we've had enough for this video. I don't aim or plan to make videos as long as they were in the beginning of this channel, but I hope this video helped, and try to be very mindful with caffeine. Make sure you take care of yourself first before you do something for the other people. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you do need to drink caffeine to do something that you're supposed to do, and then you may start having the side effects, especially if you're a smart person. It's been Edward. I'm going to see you in the next video. Goodbye.